I was this is kind of cool. I was a bridesman in his wedding.
Wow.
Which I love. Breaking the barrier.
I'm also really best friends with his wife now, Maddie. So it was awesome having two of my best friends get married. So that was really cool. Also another set of our friends got married the following month. Best friends with both of them too. So two bachelorette parties. It was.
You get to go to both.
I get to go to both. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Perk.
He's winning on both ends.
Another perk of being.
He's the only person that can really say they can see both sides of it.
Yeah, I'm literally both sides. Like, I'm best friends with everyone.
Kenneth, I love it. I think
it's an interesting position. It's cool.
Quite the privilege, too.
Yeah.
Kenneth, this is a juicy question.
Okay.
I want to ask, what was the experience like coming out when you let the world know?
That is a great question. And I definitely feel like everybody's story is so different.
Yeah, and it's good for people to share.
Yeah, definitely. For my friends, I remember I just disclosed casually I think somebody was like, "Oh, he's so hot." Something. And I was like, "Yeah, like he is hot." And they didn't.
How old?
This was a sophomore year of high school. Yeah. And they didn't really say anything. And I was like, "Did you hear me?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, what do you think?" And they were like, "What are you trying to say?" And I was like, "Well, hey, like I'm gay, And so this was like two people that I told first I was not very close with, And
this was the first people you let know.
The first people in general, yeah. So
and you weren't even that tight with them.
And we were cool, but they weren't like my childhood friends,
Yeah.
So then I told them, they responded positively. I told some of my girlfriends.
And this was when you were a sophomore.
Yeah, this is my sophomore. I told some of my girlfriends too. And
just curious, like before that, did you feel like, damn, I need to like
let
tell
people
someone.
know? You know what? I feel like there's several stages in the whole thing, and I feel like
what are those stages?
I love to dive in. I feel like it could be different for some people. I feel like a lot of people feel like you turn gay, and I don't really like that term. I kind of can't stand it, at least from my life.
Do you view it as it's something that you were born?
And I wouldn't even say born, and I wouldn't know, per se, because when you're young and you're developing,
and
like,
you don't know.
Yeah,
people say that, but it's like,
and it's
sure, it could be a genetic thing, but it's born.
Right.
I mean,
it could, and it very well could be. I'm not discounting it. I just wouldn't put all of my eggs in that basket, just because, and nor would I put all my eggs in any basket, because I don't know. So I just got to be objective.
Not a scientist,
right? Exactly.
None of us are scientists here. We're financial advisors.
Exactly. But I would say, like, by the time I was like 6, I think I remember my first crush being in the 1st grade. I had a crush on this kid, and another guy, yeah. And I just did, and I knew that it was taboo, and I didn't really have the verbiage for it. And then I would say that I developed several crushes, and then, because when you're a kid, I think a lot of people also don't think about this, is you can think someone's pretty, right? And that was my thing, because I was like, well, I think girls are pretty, I think they're pretty, because at that time we don't really have sexual feelings, so it was hard for me to decipher between.
You don't want to go pipe down,
right? I can think that a girl's absolutely gorgeous, but do I want to go like have sex with her? Like, no,
and
not
that's
really.
a confusing stage.
It is very
confusing.
It's super confusing, because you're young and you already have these feelings, and that's why I hate when people use the term like you turn gay, because that was a lot of
you're born or you turn. I think it's just something that happens.
It just
something
develops.
You feel.
Yeah, and
I don't think you're born gay or
right.
you turn gay. I think
right.
it's just kind of how you grow up and what you feel.
And by the time you get those feelings, like, there is no reversing. Like, that was the first stage, the acknowledgement, or kind of just like the feeling. Then 5th and 6th grade, I feel like, hormones kick in. So you kind of start to understand the sexual part of it.
More in tune
and that's when it was
it.
definitely confirmed for me. So then 7th and 8th grade was the stage where I know what's going on, but I don't have the guts to say anything yet,
Was that hard? Was that hard?
It was very hard, because at that point I was pretending to be interested in the opposite sex, knowing that I wasn't. So that was a bit rough.
Sucks.
Definitely does. And then in the 9th grade, I developed a really deep thing thing for somebody, and I was trying to figure it all out and stuff like that. And I think that that's when I really came to the conclusion for myself. Like,
was it like with someone who you were a good friend with? I mean, we don't have to say names
well,
or
we
anything,
can talk about it.
Yeah,
Like we were really good friends, and we did this like horrible thing where we would like play gay. So bad thinking about it. It's so cringy.
And I think that happened though with like even girls.
Was
like,
he gay? Was he gay as well?
Him and her.
Well, and that was the disappointing thing. Like it got to a point where I felt like it was a thing.
Y'all were at first just like acting like it, just joking around,
right?
Which is disappointing.
But it would be like all the, it would be like a bit much, enough, and so, and then when I finally was like, hey, like I like you in like a for real way, he was like, what? He was like no,
yeah,
he
and
was just playing a part,
and he was just right, and
he didn't think about real feelings while you were,
and it was a lot of
which that's tough. For anyone
tough.
It was
tough.
It was interesting, it was definitely a rough time, because I knew what I wanted, so whatever. But not saying that he didn't know what he wanted, he clearly did, but that was a learning lesson for me, and that was one where I was like, you know what, I'm putting myself in this position, with people who aren't even interested in that way, like I need to be living my life as who I am, not two straight friends who are in a bromance, but I need to be living my life as who I am. So, and ironically enough, I had a group of guy friends also that I was actively, hanging out with. I mean, football players and, people who...
Well, that's what we've been talking about. He is a guy's guy, but also a girl's girl, and he was an athlete. He's fast, and he could fight. And I think people yes, he can fight. People were very surprised by him because it's like, people have these stereotypical thoughts of a gay, of what a gay looks like, what a gay acts like, what a gay guy does.
Kid, if you're the size of a NFL player,
he is a guy and he is a girl, and he can be a guy and a girl, and he can be both. And that's the craziest part about Kenneth, is that he can play every side and he can get with everything.
And just kind of, and luckily,
it is a gift.
And luckily, like I did have amazing friends. Like when I told those guys as well, their response to me was very positive, and I had unlike a lot of people, I did have a positive coming out situation. I didn't lose any friends. If anything, I feel like I gained the respect of so many people.
And a lot of clarity, right?
A ton of clarity. And I think that people just respected it because it was one of those things where people knew, people knew before I said something.
He was also one of the only openly gay men in Mansfield, I would say. I mean, like between all the high schools, there's not a lot. So I think he was heavily respected because there wasn't a lot of gay men in Mansfield, and it was kind of frowned upon, but he just took it in strides and he didn't really care, and he was himself.
And I felt liberated too, like even if people did, feel away, like I was so relieved. I mean, like that was like, nearly at that point a decade worth of shame and secrecy, that I was keeping within myself. So
the audio's still going. Give me one sec, Kenneth, because it's a great story, brother.
Got you.